Good morning, traders. Welcome to StockCast. My name is Todd Derby, along with my co-host, business partner James Mason. Good morning, James. How you doing today?
Todd, good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. If you're just getting up and joining us and just looking at the stock market, you've missed absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. I only have 16 things on my pre-market watch list, and the highest one has less than 5 million in volume, and that's horrible.
Yeah, it's actually the morning weekly or the morning daily newsletter that I put out, email I send to everyone. I put the upgrades and downgrades, and I've noticed this last few days. It's made note of me that I'm literally doing about an average about 5 to 6 a day, where it used to be like 15 to 25, and or there'd be like 30 upgrades, maybe 10 downgrades because the market was strong, and then if it was a bad day, it'd be like 30 downgrades and like 10 upgrades. But now upgrades and downgrades is like 5 to 6 each day.
Yeah, it's crazy, honestly. Like the lack of news that we have overall, the lack of volume, the lack of money moving around in the market. I don't know. It's odd. But in other news, SPY took a hit. Actually, let's talk about. Well, actually, I don't want to talk about SPY yet. Let's quickly talk about DWAC again. So yesterday we spoke on it briefly, and today I'm just going to speak on it again briefly. Like I said, guys, watch out. So they apparently, I guess they're doing like a beta launch right now. There are people who have access to Truth Social, and as you can see, there's not a lot of interest. So the whole money train back here, where's it at? And that's the big question that I've been, trying to ask and, bringing up in the show. There's just not a lot of hype around this. And I just have, I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about this overall. With there not being a lot of hype, there definitely hasn't been any talk, more so with this merger. And that really concerns me right here. Now, I'm not saying to sell your shares. I'm not saying to buy shares. I'm just throwing up the truth.
Are you in this trade on a long-term swing? I don't think you are.
No, I'm not. Last time I was in it, I was shorting it.
Right. Yeah, remember that. Back in October, we both were and got our.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of had no choice back here but to short it.
Yeah, the market said, "Hey, Todd, bend over and smack the shit out of us."
Yeah. The first go around, yeah, it nailed us. I was not expecting it because we started shorting at like 20, 73 or 79. Oh, you're talking way back here. Okay.
Yeah.
But I turned around and I caught it on the ride up, and scored huge on it. But when I tried to come back in this day right here and short it, I think we both started around 73 or 79. I can't really remember. I think it's 73 though. And it went ham after that. And this is the day that got us.
Well, we were trading this and Fun the same time, and they both Fun halted up like 2 or 3 times up on an upward halt, and we couldn't get out.
Yeah. But then I was able to catch Fun on the drop down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild days. I mean, I'll be honest.
I'd take those days.
I would take them back. Yep. I'd definitely do them again.
If you're on the right side of it, it's a big day, big payday.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, like, I don't know. It's just concerning to me overall. And the reason why I'm just bringing this up, and this ain't, to spread FUD, stupid internet lingo. I'm just bringing it up because it is a red flag. And, a lot of people don't have time to break down and decipher what's actually going on here. And that's literally what I do all day, every day. So, again, like I always say, it doesn't matter whether you like Trump or not. We're here to make money. I'll be honest. Never mind. I was going to make a comparison, but that comparison might have came back and haunted me later. I was gonna make a comparison to a historic figure and be like, if such and such figure was in the stock market and I felt bullish on their stock, I would probably trade it. But I'm not gonna even say a name. All right. Yeah. So I mean, we really need to watch DWAC, but we have to think about the downside to it. You always have to think about the downside. Like, what could happen if bad news comes out? And if you're prepared for the downside and know how to manage the downside, you're okay. Because, if and when the downside happens, you have a plan and you can respond and react to it. And then if good stuff happens while you're waiting for the downside to happen, now this is in context if you're bullish on it. If something good actually happens and it shoots up, then cool. That's why you were there anyways, trading it. But the downside here is, what if one morning we wake up and it's announced that this merger deal is off, that True Social wants to stay private? DWAC is going right back down here to $10. That's the scary thing about this.
I think it's a strong short candidate. I would like to see it run up to over 100, 120. And then I think it would be a great long-term short candidate waiting for that morning where they announce that the deal's off.
Well, how I think it's going to probably happen, and this, we're not saying that this is going to happen. We're just talking about, the what if. I think if they would announce that the deal is off, I think it's going to come at a time to where we wouldn't even be able to benefit from it, Todd. All the institutions are going to capitalize on it. They'll push it down, 15, 20 points already. By the time we could trade it, we'll jump in to short it. They'll push it up, squeeze us out. They'll cover, they'll make their profits. They'll squeeze us out. We'll take a loss. We'll be all upside down, confused, like what the hell is going on here. And then by the time we take a long position, that's when they'll tank it on us. Yeah. So, yeah, just, I don't know. For everybody in DWAC,
be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Establish a plan. Stop losses are not going to work after hours. Remember that. Especially if they gap it down past it. I mean, you're just SOL. So let's get into the overall market. Let's talk about the SPY. So yesterday we spoke about the SPY and how it was just responding around to that middle Bollinger Band line, that 9 EMA. And I said yesterday that I really need to see something significant happen, whether it be to the downside or to the upside. And dude, the manipulation is just so freaking unreal in the stock market. It shouldn't even be called the stock market. There's nothing fair or free about it. It's just one big ass casino for the Federal Reserve and whoever they're looking out for. So we can see how it just started unloading right here pre-market. Had this little bounce. I alerted it. We went short. It started looking really good. And then, had this little consolidation right here. Started kind of come up and had a stop loss in at 444, and boom, dropped again. At this point, I was like, man, we are freaking golden. Like,
and then 2 o'clock rolled around.
Exactly, yeah. Like when you have a setup like this, major bearish candle, and it does whatever bull crap right here, and then it happens again. Usually, there's seriously like, I don't know, Todd. How much of a percentage would you say of a chance there is for it to continue in that direction when you see this setup? Like
we would call that in the industry an all-in moment.
Yes, it's almost guaranteed. It really is.
Yeah.
And then this crap happens right here, and then what do we have here? Wall Street Algos releasing the FOMC minutes. Again, the FOMC minutes from the January 26th meeting. And it's so stupid because the FOMC minutes is literally just a hard copy of the words that they announced.
And they weren't even positive. They were just like,
No, it's the same shit. It's the
An
same
interest
shit.
rate hike is coming. Oh, let's skyrocket the market.
Yeah, it's the same shit that Jerome Powell said on January 26th when it pulled down on that date. I believe it was the 26th of January. But it's just a physical hard copy. That's all minutes are. And this shit went up, and you know, I wasn't heavy in contracts or anything like that, but I did have some. I was trading it to the downside, and you know, it spiked up. I hurried up to cover on it to stop out at 444. Had a horrible fill on it, and then it came back down because I was bearish when it would get under 443.18. It came right back down in the same candle. I went to go take puts again. Got a horrible fill on it. Literally, it was like by the time it started coming down, I executed my order. But because so many people were processing orders in the market, by the time it got filled, and we're talking literally like seconds. And it's just one of those things that like you can't help at all. Is when they have that many orders going through in the entire market, it bogs everything down. And everybody who is in front of you who placed an order, they get filled before you. It's just a queue system. And so by the time my order got filled, which really it probably was only like 2 seconds, but this thing had moved, I don't know, it might have been longer, I don't know. But it had moved so quickly that I got a horrible fill right here with my puts. And then I just didn't feel good about it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then it started going back up, and I just cut that shit again. And thank God I cut it, because it just went sky high for no reason on the same information that we already had. And here we are pre-market. And one of the reasons why we're taking this hit pre-market is because of what we already expected. So supposedly there were reports that the Ukrainians started popping shots off at Russian sites, but it's already been exposed. Intel has already exposed that Russian propaganda was going to report of a false flag attack on Russian targets or soldiers. And lo and behold, what we have. That's exactly what we have. Now, if we're just going to be real and honest here, the Russians are very good at propaganda. That's what they do. I would say they might excel with it more than, I don't want to say everybody else, but they're definitely up there at the very top. So, where does that put us? To be honest with you guys, hell, I don't know. With the way this market is, every time something breaks down off of bad news, our Federal Reserve just keeps coming in and trying to push the shit up. And then when reality starts to set in, the market starts to respond the way it should. And so
you and I talked in the pre-market or before the show about how there are no coincidences in the market. And I also am a big believer that anytime you have a conflict or there's a situation or something's not making sense, if you can take a step back and say, who's going to financially benefit from this? Follow the money. No one wants to go to war. War is just a tool. It's a very dangerous tool to a financial gain for somebody somewhere along the line. And that's the question we have to ask. Because I think Putin in Russia has more to gain from this somehow than Ukraine. And so you have to really be careful the message and the propaganda that comes out of Russia, and what are they really trying to position themselves for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I do. Nah, I don't feel like getting in that conversation either.
Let's talk about a couple of other tickers today. Last couple of days we've rambled on for some stuff, and let's get into the comments and cover a couple of tickers.
All right, drop some tickers, drop some good ones, guys. But instead of just being like Apple, put some substance behind it.
Brian's asking about Facebook. If it drops below 212, do we see 180?
Yeah. Well, really quick, Johnny, thank you for the $10 tip.
I know it's nice to have Johnny back in the house. Our coffee cup's been dry.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Okay, Facebook, if it drops below 212.36, do we see 180? Brian, I don't think right yet. I was actually expecting a little bullish bounce in this initial gap down for Facebook. And we haven't had that yet. At some point, we need to experience a little bounce here. So Facebook needs to at least come back up here and test this 9 EMA at a minimum. And then, after we have a little bullish bounce and it comes up and then rolls back down that second time, that's when I do believe that we'll see that range. But I mean, it's trying to act like an elastic band right now. It's really trying to stretch itself out to go down there and touch that range for sure. But me personally, with how I trade, I would have to see that bounce happen first and it come back up somewhere in this range and then start rolling over that second time. And then that's when I would look for, it pushing down to that 180 range. So that's just a quick rundown on Facebook.
All right.
B. Let's see. What else we got in the comments?
Here's a small one. Billy's got asked about KAVL. They took a big dump yesterday.
I thought we talked about that one yesterday.
All right.
Hold on. I remember we may not have talked about it yesterday, but we talked about it recently.
We have talked about it.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one I was talking about. It has the same setup as PROG.
Okay.
All right. Hold on a second. All right. Let me go back to state of the chart. All right. So now I'm just going to speak in terms of what I see overall on the chart. I'm not in this one. So if I speak about this emotionless, well, it is what it is. All right. So this range is going to be a little wide here. We see that decent red candle yesterday, but at the moment, if I was in this, I know I wouldn't be too concerned. It might consolidate right here on this support around 240, possibly maybe even go down to this 86 EMA. If we come down to this 86 EMA, I would expect it to kind of bounce off of it, unless if they just got horrendous news. But after that, once we come back up here and start to break these highs, then I think we're smooth selling in this ticker. We can obviously see that this thing is wanting to make this push up and close this gap. Now, we did get to this point to where this was the first time. Well, I don't want to count this one because that was just a weird gap up and then it got pushed back down. But in context of it actually like moving up, this is the first time we started to approach the beginning of this gap down to start to fill it. So I think what a lot of people were probably doing was, I mean, they were down here and they had fat ass profits. And by the time it moved up here, when you have an average of probably under $1 and then it comes up here to $3, nothing wrong with taking your damn profits.
Yeah. You can't fault them for that.
Yeah. So we can see we're just testing this upper range. Well, the upper range right here of the bottom side of this gap down for the first time. And I think a lot of people were just taking profits and we might see that consolidation here. But if and when new traders start to come in here, and buying it up. And the only way we'll know that is, well, we won't know it. We'll just have to assume it if we see consolidation. If we see consolidation, we can only assume that, that's what's taking place. New traders are coming in, old traders are getting out, and then we might see that push up again after that, and then it really rip out. Now, we do have earnings per TradingView estimated to be on March 2nd. So I'm not really sure what they're expecting as a whole. But we still got 2 weeks out from that. So we potentially could see this gap actually fill before then. So me right now at the moment, if I had I think the best way to say this, if I had a disciplined position size, meaning I wasn't in over my head on this trade, I wouldn't be sweating it. Now, if I was in over my head on this trade, I'd probably be stressing it because I would be in over my head. So,
I understand this.
Yeah. So that's what I see for ticker KAVL.
All right. We are about 6 minutes from the start of the market. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. Hold on, let me just run through here really quickly. S. John, you're funny asking about Roku and earnings. Roku is on my do not trade list. It has been for like 2 years now, along with Disney.
Yeah.
Jesus, guys, come on now. I literally said drop tickers, but don't put some substance with it. Don't just drop a ticker.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Todd, that's all I have for today. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. About 5 minutes from the start of the market. Have a good day. Be careful. Yesterday was a bad day for me. That 2:00 meeting, and the way I got pinched. So I had my first red day of the month. Small red day, but it still was no fun.
Yeah. So, guys, we'll come back with more dad jokes. If you love the dad jokes, press 1 in the comments right now. All right, guys. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. Remember, trade safe, trade smart. We're at a very volatile time in the stock market. Like any macro event could pop off and rip the market in either direction. And it's so hard to trade during these periods of time. It's literally gambling. Like you're flipping a coin and hoping you're going to get lucky. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see y'all in the next one.